Pro Tem is back. Good evening. We'll call to order the City of Douglasville City Council regular meeting for tonight, which is April the 5th. We will have our invocation by the Associate Pastor of First Presbyterian Church of Douglasville, Associate Pastor Andrew Dickerson. Please stand for the invocation, and after that, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by the Mayor Pro Tem. Good evening, Pastor.
Good evening, Mayor. As you are able, please join with me in a word of prayer. Gracious God, we thank you for the gift of this day. We thank you for health and strength that we can serve and give our lives to the well-being of our city. We pray for Mayor Robinson and the council men and women who serve with her and the committees they work with, that you would give them insight and discernment, that you would help them and guide them in the work that they do on our behalf. We recognize, as the prophet Isaiah did, that even youth grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. At times we may find ourselves weary and discouraged, but on this Easter Monday, and being mindful of the season of spring, where we see new life bursting forth around us, help us to remember your faithfulness and goodness, that you bring light out of darkness, life out of death, and that you turn discouragement into hopefulness. In the season of spring, as we see your recreation all around us, may we be blessed by its beauty, may we be uplifted in spirit, and may weary arms be strengthened, that we may serve the citizens of Douglasville with all that you have graciously given. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Mayor Pro Tem, for leading us in the pledge, and Pastor Dickinson. In my Baptist, Free Will Baptist way, I was ready to pass a collection plate. Say amen. That was great. Thank you so much. So we'll move on now with the agenda that is printed before us with announcements and presentations. I will go over the protocol and how the meeting will run this evening, and then we will follow the agenda as it is printed or presented out on the desk. I'd like to welcome you to the Douglasville City Council meeting. My name is Rochelle Robinson. I'm Mayor of the City of Douglasville. And we do have one person, one of the elected officials that is online, joining us virtually. And so if you don't mind, once I say your name, if you please could respond in the affirmative so that those that are watching will be able to know that you are on the line with us. Councilmember Dr. LaShawn Burdanley, are you here?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. And the rest of the council members are here in person with the exception of Councilman Davis. So this is an open meeting of the Douglasville Mayor and Council. It's being conducted by teleconference or in person, but the teleconference is consistent with the official code of Georgia, annotated section 50-14-1G, due to emergency conditions involving public safety in order to mitigate the transmission of the coronavirus and to reduce the risk of COVID-19. That section, which you can find posted with agenda materials for this meeting, allows for local governments to meet by teleconference in the event of an emergency, so long as means are afforded for the public to have simultaneous access to the teleconference meeting. For this meeting, we are convening by Zoom app, as shown on the city's website, describing how the public may join, which is via YouTube media platform. And we'll go on with the instructions and protocol for the meeting tonight. The governor's order does extend through April the 15th, and he may extend beyond that. But at this point, we're still able to meet virtually and or in person, a hybrid, until April the 15th per Governor Brian Kemp. This is a regularly scheduled council meeting where agenda items are presented, and we will vote on these items. We discussed them last Thursday, at our legislative work session, and this is how the items will be handled. The committee chairperson will read the item first, Then myself or council members will possibly ask clarifying questions to help us make our decision. We will vote tonight, so it'll go a little different from the meeting that happened on last Thursday. The committee chairperson will make a motion. Someone will do a second. I'll call for a second, or they'll make a second. Then we'll vote on that item. The applicant is allowed to come forward if it's a public hearing. The committee chairperson will talk about that and ask you to come forward if you would like to. If the business you wish to speak on is not listed as an agenda item, there will be ample time under the item comments from citizens and delegates. You're able to come forward and you have 5 minutes to address us for any business that is happening with the city or any potential business as relates to the City of Douglasville. I would ask that you would please keep your comments and presentations on a professional level, dealing with the facts that are important for this governing body to make our decisions. We ask that you would please not do any personal attacks on any individual or group of individuals. You'll receive a warning from the chair, and if you deviate from this requirement, a second deviation will result in the chairperson discontinuing your opportunity to speak. But we know we'll all be respectful to one another. We would ask that only one person speak at a time, and that you will not be disruptive and talk from the audience and all of that, and just really direct all of your comments to the chairperson. There is a maximum of 20 minutes per side, 20 minutes for those in favor of the item, 20 minutes for those in opposition, and each person has 5 minutes to speak. And the applicant will come forward once the chairperson says their name. You give us your name and address for the record, and then you have an opportunity to talk to us. This is not a question and answer format or debate. We're just here to hear the information, deliberate, and make a decision. I believe that's it. If you have a cell phone or electronic device, please put those in silent mode or power those off until after the meeting so they won't be disruptive. And if you have printed material, we ask that you would please give it to our city clerk, Ms. Vicki Acker, to my right and the rear and your left. So that is it. Those are all the instructions and protocol. We hope that everyone's on the same page. We appreciate you being here this evening. And we'll move on now with our agenda as it is printed. It should appear on the screen and/or there are some out on the desk. And if you didn't sign in online and you'd like to speak to us, there's a form that you should have filled out with your name and address. And we'd love to have that for the record. So now we'll move on with the minutes. And I'll open the floor for the minutes to have the approval of the minutes of the legislative work session and executive session of March the 11th, 2021, and the regular meeting and executive session of March 15th, 2021. So I'll open the floor for a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you so much, Councilman Adams. It's been properly moved in second to approve the minutes as presented. Do we see any corrections or anything we need to change with the minutes from council members? Dr. Burdanley, you see anything we need to change on the minutes?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. Not seeing any corrections or deletions or anything that we need to change. All of those in favor of approving the minutes as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Aye.
nay. Thank you. The ayes have it. The minutes are unanimously approved. Now we'll move on to the consent agenda. I will open the floor for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Thank you so much, Councilman Adams. It's a motion to approve the consent agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you so much, Councilman Estes. It's been properly moved in second to approve the consent agenda as presented. Do we have any questions or comments or any deliberation as relates to the consent agenda as presented to the council members? Thank you. I don't see any. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Councilmember Burdanley.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The consent agenda is unanimously approved. Now we'll move on to item number 7, which is the committee is Economic Development Committee, and that's chaired by Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business under the Economic Development Committee at this time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. We'll move on then to Finance Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Mark Adams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have
You're
two
welcome.
items tonight under Finance. Authorize the mayor to sign a professional services agreement with AECOM Technical Services Incorporated to conduct the Highway 5 Transportation Land Use Study Project. We discussed this on Thursday evening in our meetings, and Ms. McKown is here to answer any questions or make any other comment. Ms. McKown, go ahead.
April McKown, 6701 Church Street. Scope has remained the same, of course, looking at land use and transportation in the Highway 5 corridor. The budget for this study was $125,000. AECOM, the selected firm, or the recommended firm, I should say, proposed $123,350,000 as total project cost, giving you about $1,650 in savings, and hopefully a great study to accommodate that.
Thank you, Ms. McKown. Do we have any questions or further discussion concerning this item? Mayor?
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I don't have a question or comment about this particular item, but the person who is presenting it, I did. Ms. McKown, if you could please, we're very proud of you for being appointed to a very intricate board in the region, and I would ask you to explain it for our viewing audience. We're just proud every time our team in City of Douglasville have these accomplishments and accolades, so we want to give you an opportunity to please express yourself to us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's an honor to represent Douglasville with the Atlanta Leaders of Metro Atlanta, or Art Leaders of Metro Atlanta. I was selected from a large group of influencers within the Metro Atlanta area who are from artists, planners, urban planners, city planners, elected officials, and everyone in between that has an interest in art and how it relates to social issues as well as representation of communities. So we had the opportunity to examine different and unique opportunities within communities and provide art-related strategies for implementation so that when art is installed in these different communities, it is a true representation of those individuals. So it's an honor to represent y'all.
Thank you. Congratulations. We're so proud of you. I know it makes a great difference. I talked about being in Houston before COVID and how all the public art is really displayed, and it helps you to feel connected to the community as you bring local artists together in the Beltline in Atlanta and all of that. So we're very, very proud of you. Council, if you don't mind giving Ms. McKown a hand for her appointment.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being gracious, Councilman Adams. I appreciate that. That's all I had.
Do we have any comments concerning this item A of council? And I'll ask Dr. LaShawn Berdanley, in that she is remote this evening. Do you have any questions or comments, Dr. Berdanley?
Congratulations to Ms. April. I have no comments other than that. Thank you so much, Chairman.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Yes, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, go ahead.
I also congratulate Ms. April for quite an accomplishment. I do also want to comment on the issue here, which I think this is long overdue. Highway 5 corridor has been a mess for quite a number of years, and I think a lot of people are going to be very excited and happy to see that we're finally moving forward to hopefully solving some of the issues of traffic and pedestrian hazards along that stretch. So that's all, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others? Okay, seeing none, then I'll make a motion that we approve item 21-123.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. This is in your ward. This is exciting. Do we have any additional comments or questions as it relates to this item? Not hearing any. All those in favor of approving item 21-123, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you so much. Opposed, nay? The ayes have it. 21-123 is unanimously approved.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We'll move on to item
You're
B. Authorize the mayor to sign change order number 1 revised with Albion Scotia Enterprises LLC to add labor and materials for the Club Drive renovation project. Mr. Thompson.
Good afternoon. Marcus Thompson, 6701 Church Street. Good afternoon, Madam Mayor and Council. I don't have any additional information to provide at the moment. Do you guys have any further questions for me?
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. I'll start with Dr. LaShawn Berdanley since she is remote and see if she has any questions for Mr. Thompson concerning this item.
I do not. Thank you, Chairman Adams.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other question or comment? I know we discussed this on Thursday at length concerning the different options that we could potentially take, and Mr. Thompson has done a great job in providing us with those options. Any question or comment? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Then I will make a motion that we approve item 21-157 to go forward with this change order number 1.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you so much, Councilman Estes. It's been properly moved and second to approve item 21-157. Do we have any additional comments or questions or any deliberation as it relates to this item from council members? Dr. Burdanley?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. Not seeing any or hearing any, all those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 21-157 is unanimously approved. Bless you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. That's all that we
welcome.
have tonight under finance.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I will move on then to Housing and Community Affairs Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Dr. LaShawn Burdanley.
We have no business tonight, Madam Mayor. We did have a discussion in committee, but it's not tonight. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Legislative and Intergovernmental Committee, the vice chair is Councilmember Dr. LaShawn Burdanley.
No items tonight, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for standing in
welcome.
for Councilman Davis. Personnel and
Yes, ma'am.
Organization Committee, that's chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
No items tonight, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much, Councilman Watts. Good to see you. Planning and Development Committee, that's chaired by Councilmember Mark Adams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We
You're
have 3
welcome.
items tonight under Planning and Development.
Yes, sir.
Item A is consider a request for approval of a development plan for Sweetwater Point for 5.062 acres at Stewart Mill Parkway and Douglas Boulevard, located in Land Lot 130, District 2, Section 5, Parcel 90, for plans dated February 18th, 2021, application by Alan Collins. Ms. Williams, did you have any information for us?
Patrice Williams, Community Development Director, 6701 Church Street. At this time, I have no new information to add. We are asking that this item be tabled to the next round, April 15th and 19th. There were some issues regarding code for fire, and so with that being said, it doesn't meet the height restrictions, and therefore we can't move forward with that at this time.
Okay, thank you. Comments, questions that Madam Mayor or council may have concerning the item at this point? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Mr. Adams. Thank you. I know we had a lot of discussion about this at our work session last week, and I appreciate everything that you brought to the conversation. And we're looking to table on the 15th and 19th. Do we have an additional conversation with the developer or to see if they would be amenable to lowering the 2 feet so that it would meet the height requirement?
Still working on it at this
Okay.
point.
And we can't do a variance?
It's really an issue with fire.
Uh-huh.
It's their code that we follow, and
Yes,
so
ma'am.
we need their approval, and they're not willing to approve it at the 32 feet.
Oh, I understand that. I wanted to go
Yeah.
back down to 2 feet so that if there is unfortunately a fire there, the ladders will be tall enough to
Right.
make it. So I'm saying we could not do a variance within house to lower it, or it has, because the development plan has to show that?
We can't, because
Okay.
our partner doesn't agree with the variance, so we can't
Okay.
request a variance.
Okay.
So we really need them to get down to 30 feet.
And we're still working on trying to get that communication and have that conversation with them.
Correct. I've asked them to communicate with staff to make sure they understand the code before moving forward.
You think we'll make it by the time that it's tabled for, that's only in a couple of weeks?
I'm hopeful.
Okay. If not, then we'll have to extend the tabling for the next round.
Right.
Okay, thank you so much. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Sure. Any other comments or questions? Dr. LaShawn Burdanley, do you have any comment or question on the item?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Seeing no others, then, we will agree then that we will make a motion to table item 21-132 to the meetings of April 15th and April 19th, 2021.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I have a motion to table item 21-132 to the meetings of tax day, April the 15th and the 19th of 2021. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Thank you so much, Councilman Estes. It's been properly moved and second to table items 21-132 to the meetings of April the 15th and 19th. Do we have any additional comments or questions from council members? Thank you. I don't see any. All those in favor of approving to table this item to the 15th and the 19th meetings, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Opposed? Nay? It's unanimously approved. Item 21-132 is tabled to the meetings of April the 15th and April 19th of 2021.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Moving on to item B, this will be a public hearing considering a request for variance to reduce the required 100-foot setback from a residential district in section 5.04 of the Unified Development Ordinance for a variance of 24 feet for a remaining requirement of 76 feet on the south side of a lot of 21.579 acres in land lot 521, District 18, Section 2, Parcel 3, and land lot 480, District 18, Section 2, Parcel 1. Application by Hunter Himes of PME Oakmont Skyview LLC. Ms. Williams?
Okay, Patrice Williams, Community Development Director, 6701 Church Street. We have nothing new to add. I'd just like to reiterate, I got it out straight that time, reiterate that this is really a item for the bank. It's just a housekeeping item for the bank. This is something that they're requesting because, as you can see, they can't develop the parcel on that area anyway. So this is really something that the bank has requested.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. This being a public hearing, we want to give opportunity to the applicant if there's any new information they'd like to provide, and also to anyone that would be here that may want to speak either for or against. Ms. Jackson, do we have anyone virtual that's online for this?
No, sir, not for this item.
Okay. I see that the applicant's here. Mr. Fowler, did you have anything new?
No, sir, Mr. Himes is here if you have questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
Council, Madam Mayor, does anyone have any question or comment concerning this? Dr. Berdanley, do you have any question concerning the item?
No, sir, thank you.
Okay. Just to reiterate, I want everyone to make sure we understand that the 24-foot variance that would be given into an area that is undevelopable as a residential development because of being in the floodplain. So don't anticipate that there would be a residential development there. And so this 24-foot variance would allow the developer to go forward with their plan. And I want to make sure we all understand that. We're not encroaching into someone else's development residentially. Okay? If there are no other questions or comments, we'll close that portion of the public hearing, and I'll make a motion that we approve item 21-153.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you so much, Councilman Watts. It's been properly moved and second to approve item 21-153. Do we have any additional comments or questions from council members? I don't see any. All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Berdanley. I heard you. And the other council members that are here have pushed their buttons and said aye. So those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 21-153 is unanimously approved. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Madam Mayor, thank you. Item
Mr.
C,
Fowler.
last item tonight. Consider a request for revised plat approval for Gateway Village Unit 2, Phase 2, for the purpose of identifying a public sewer easement for 10.575 acres at Gatesville Parkway for a portion of land lot 637, District 1, Section 3, Parcel 1, and land lot 636, District 1, Section 3, Parcel 4. Application by Michelle McCauley of LaCroix Engineering. Ms. Williams?
Patrice Williams, Community Development Director, 6701 Church Street. I have nothing new to add. We do have the applicant on the call if you have any questions for him, but we don't have any new information at this time.
Thank you, Ms. McCauley. Dr. Berdanley, do you have any questions concerning this item before we make a motion?
No, sir, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone? Madam Mayor, any questions or comments? Council? Okay. I believe it's been explained to us that this was something that was missed, and so they're coming back for a revised final plat just to identify that easement. And I believe that easement ran along Maroney Mill Road. It was explained to us.
That's what was explained,
Okay.
correct.
Seeing no other requests for any other information, I'll make a motion then that we approve item 21-133.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I have a motion to approve 21-133. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Thank you so much, Councilman Estes. It's been properly moved and second to approve item 21-133. Do we have any additional comments or questions from council members? Dr. Berdanley?
No, ma'am.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
All those in favor of approving 21-133, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Aye.
Thank you so much. I heard you. It's been unanimously approved. I mean, nay, no nay. So 21-133 is unanimously approved.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
That's all that we have tonight under Planning and Development.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. We'll move on to Public Improvement and Beautification Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Nicole Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business this evening.
Thank you so much, Ms. Chairman. Public Relations Committee, that's chaired by Councilmember Howard Estes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business this evening.
Thank you, sir. We'll move on then to our next committee, which is number 15, and that is Public Safety Committee. The vice chair is Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have one item tonight. Point of order, I've been kind of confused in the past with these public hearings for these items.
Yes, sir.
Are we doing the public hearing we did it on Monday night? Are we still doing it, Thursday night? Are we still doing it on the Monday night following? Because I know sometimes
We
we
do
haven't, so
sometimes.
I'm just clarifying.
We'll ask the legal eagle back there, Mr. Dotson.
Yes, you've had public hearings on both nights
Yes, sir.
in the past.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm just
Okay.
clarifying that. Thank you.
Want to
Madam
hear the
Mayor.
official word.
Item A, hold a public hearing to consider a request for a change in agent outlet manager and a transfer of the alcoholic beverages license for the retail package sale of wine and malt beverages at the following establishment. Current licensee, Sarjo Incorporated, proposed licensee Douglasville Market LLC. DBA is Andy's Food Mart, location 9318 Georgia Highway 5. Current agent outlet manager Andy Akar. Proposed agent outlet manager Rahim Verani. The required fees have been paid into the finance department. And you're Mr. Verani?
I'm Rahim Gurani.
Yes, sir. Do you have any additional comments from anything that you may? No, sir? Okay. So this is a public hearing. Anybody that would like to express an opinion, either for or against, please come forward. Okay. No one's coming forward. As Councilman Davis likes to say, there's no takers. So I would just, I'll close this portion of the public hearing. And at this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve item 21-152.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vice Chair. There's been a motion to approve item 21-152. Do we have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you so much, Councilman Adams. It's been properly moved in second to approve item 21-152. Do we have any additional comments or questions from council members? Thank you so much. Not seeing any. The only comment that I will make is that we understand this is Mr. Varen, is that how you pronounce your name? Your first opportunity to bring a food mart to the city of Douglasville, but you do have 20 years of experience, and there has not been any concerns in that area that we gotten from the police department last week. So I was just bringing that to the table for the vice chair, and you did a very good job with the public hearing, Mr. Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome. So that's the only comment. If we don't see any or hear any others, Dr. Burdanley, did you have anything?
No, ma'am, thank you.
You're welcome. All those in favor of approving 21-152, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 21-152 is unanimously approved. Congratulations. You're welcome.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. That's all the items we had under public safety this evening.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vice Chair, and thank you so much for answering the question, Mr. Dotson. We appreciate that. Recreation, Culture, and Tourism Committee, that's chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight in Recreation, Culture, and Tourism.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. We'll move on to Technology Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business under the Technology Committee at this time.
Thank you so much, Councilman Miller. Transportation Committee, that's chaired by Councilmember Dr. LaShawn Burdanley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no items under transportation. However, it is my understanding that we do have residents that would like to make comments at the end of this meeting that we definitely will take in consideration and take it to our committee.
Yes, ma'am, and we'll do that under comments from citizens and delegates, and of course, we will retain that information for the Transportation Committee. Do we have
Thank you.
any other business to come before council this evening? Thank you so much. Yes, sir.
If it would please the council, I'd like to make a few comments regarding the transportation issue at this time, or would you prefer that we wait and discuss it
can-
at the same time with the
We can
citizens'
do the
comments?
other business, we can do it now. So just to stay in line with what we're having, and then the comments from citizens and delegates, we can go back to that and have the citizens talk at that time. But we'll have your comment made now. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
I would like to discuss the issue we brought up that Ms. April McKown had presented regarding the sidewalk and bicycle and transportation study that was done for the city. I guess the comments I would like to make is just, I preface this by saying that I think that AECOM did a fantastic job. I mean, that was a tremendous amount of work that they put together, a tremendous amount of research that they did, very skilled and very professional in terms of how they achieved what they were able to do in terms of prioritizing transportation issues like the bicycle and pedestrian routes throughout the city. My comments would be basically that I think we have to look at it from what their perspective was, which I think was sort of the 30,000-foot perch. It makes a lot of sense based on that criteria as how they prioritize the various routes throughout the city. And a lot of what they said is exactly what I've advocated over the years in terms of connectivity, in terms of what I would say is very high-minded ideals about finding ways of connecting retail and residential areas throughout the city, transportation hubs and so forth. What I think wasn't necessarily looked at, and I understand there's no way they could have done that, was to go really get down into the weeds in each neighborhood and really and look at what the needs are from a very specific standpoint. And I will point, obviously, I come into this with a very prejudiced very strongly to advocate for my ward, which is Ward 1. And in particular, we're going to be discussing, and the Transportation Committee will be discussing the issue that's been brought up, which is a sidewalk along Creekwood Drive. I guess what I would like to really point out, it's not on your screen. If you go back and you look at it, have a moment, under the transportation study, if you look at on page 10, of all the different diagrams that they show, all the different maps that they've got, there's something that really jumped out at me, which was, it was a density study of where people who work within the city, where they live, basically. And if you look at it in terms of hot spots, literally the hottest spot that shows up on that map, the densest, is the area that transposes over exactly where we want to put the sidewalk. In that section of Arbor Station is where the greatest density of residents who live, who need some sort of pedestrian aspect to the transportation. So I would strongly recommend you take a look at that particular map on page 10. And I think if you understand it from that perspective, we'll have some folks who are going to get up a little while and talk about it from more of a personal side, and I won't get into that on my discussion, but I would like to present this from that perspective that Arbor Station is the largest neighborhood in the city. It's probably, overall, it's probably the densest neighborhood in the city, as best I can tell. And it has exactly one sidewalk in the residential areas. And that was the only reason it exists is because that was the last section to be built out, and it was required at that time. We have no sidewalks anywhere else within the residential areas of Arbor Station. So as far as need, I don't know that that was necessarily taken into account in the AECOM study, but I would like to point that out along with the density that we have in Arbor Station. So those are the main issues that I present at this time, but I do look forward to us continuing this discussion in the Transportation Committee. I know that the Madam Chair has remanded it to a further study, and I strongly encourage that. And I guess I'll leave my comments there at this time.
Okay,
Thank you,
thank
Madam
you.
Mayor.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Do we want to have any comments from council members, or we'll just hold our comments and listen and then take all of that into consideration at the time of Transportation Committee? I see heads nodding. Okay, Madam Chair, do you want to have any comments now, or just wait until after we hear from the citizens?
Yes, ma'am, we can wait. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. All righty, then we'll move on to updates from city staff. Our city attorney, Mr. Joel Dotson.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dotson. Staff attorney, Ms. Lynn Woodward.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Congratulations, this is your first meeting with, no safety net, your wings, but you did a great job with Ms. Littlefield not being here. The police department, our deputy chief, Ms. Sue Ann Shaw.
No business, Madam Mayor, thank you.
You're welcome, good to see you. Our assistant city manager, Ms. Chelsea Jackson.
No business tonight, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
What? Okay, thank you so much. Do we have any staff reports, Ms. Jackson?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, this is the portion for comments from citizens and delegates. We would invite you to come forward, please, if you have any comments to present to us. Come to the microphone at this time and give us your name and address for the record. And you have 5 minutes. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much. We do have a citizen coming forward. I love the red. Let me see. Ooh-wee. You look very beautiful. You're welcome. And the twist, this everything, you're everything in that red sparkle. So please give us your name and address, and we'll love to hear if you have 5 minutes to address us. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Camille Ruggiero. I'm at 6868 Creekwood Drive. It's my daughter, Pina.
What's your
So-
daughter's name?
Pina.
Pina? Nice. Really? I like your mask too, Pina. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming to the council meeting. Are you 5?
No, I'm 4.
You're 4?
Yeah, I'm almost 5.
Oh, you're almost 5. I could tell. You look like a 5-year-old. Nice to meet you. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank you for letting me speak.
Your
And,
address? I apologize.
6868 Creekwood. We're the second house coming from Stewart Mill.
Creek. Yes, ma'am.
So we moved here a few years ago. We asked Mr. Miller about sidewalks then, because we were trying to walk to Sunshine House with our preschooler, and we just need to go down 2 lots.
Yes, ma'am.
But it's dangerous to cross the street. The traffic is bad. The car speed. You know, Creekwood Drive is hilly, and there are curves at the same time. So when a car is going around a curve and down a hill, you can't see that they're coming. They can't see you until the last second. Trying to walk on, so we walk in the, like, not in the street, but in people's yards, basically. But what happens with the Georgia clay is that your feet sink into it because we have curbs, right? And so then the water accumulates before the curve, you know, and so then you just have mud. So, you know, it's hard to get to know our neighbors because you can't really walk down the street. We did get to know our neighbors because we found out, well, we're not going to get anything. We're not going to get anywhere close to a sidewalk unless we walk up and down the street and get signatures. So most people don't answer the door. But the people that did answer the door were so excited they were not necessarily hopeful, the people that have been here for 30 years, but everybody wants it. I mean, no, people, when they found out why we were knocking on their door, they were just like, they'd open their door all the way and just absolutely, you know, without exception. So this is not really, we don't need anything fancy. We do not need a border. I think the city has 5, we did a survey on our property, and the city owns the 5 feet already next to the road. So, you know, I would really ask for you to consider it. I see the cost of what the estimates were, but, you know, that included Bike Boulevard and all these other things that might cost a lot more. But I really see this as a necessity. My in-laws come to visit. They walk through the yards to get over to Chapel Hill, you know, to Target. We're talking about a few blocks away from a major shopping center, but people have to trudge through people's yards. And honestly, they don't. I'm the only person, and my in-laws are the only people that walk through the yards. People in Georgia are so polite, they walk in the street. They really do. They don't feel comfortable doing. I'm the only person that walks with my kids on the road. Nobody does that because it's not safe. You know, we have kids across the street in other, you know, and with COVID, but my children and those kids can't really get together because just across the street, you know, down at the bottom of the hill, you can't see when the cars are going to come through. So somebody has to walk them across. And with the school buses changing the way they don't want to stop at every single house, you're asking parents to walk with their kids on a busy street to get to the bus stops. So, you know, I see it as a safety issue. I see it as a necessity. And you have people that are walking that have limps. There's a handicapped man that walks every day. I don't know why he's walking. Maybe it's for exercise, maybe it's for a job. I see other young people that I can see are walking to their job every day. You know, and so people are walking regardless whether there's a sidewalk or not. And I am waiting I don't want to see it, but somebody's going to get hit eventually. You know, so we have elderly man with a cane. He walks up and down the street. My You know, we have a pretty good view of the road, and we're homeschooling all day long, so I can see up and down the street. There are people that are walking regularly. So thank you for considering it. We really appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. You're welcome. Thank you. Do we have any other comments? Yes, sir.
Mayor Robinson, council,
evening.
I appreciate you letting me talk on this. I live in,
All you have to give us your name and address. I know we know your
I'm
face.
Terry Standridge. I live at 6584 Oakwood Drive.
Yes, sir.
So I live in Arbor Station, and we do have sidewalks on Arbor Parkway. And we have Parkway Circle, we have the sidewalk, and we have Parkway South. And those are through roads, and so is Creekwood. So we have traffic that comes off of Chapel Hill, Stewart Mill Road, and through the subdivision. We have 3 stop signs on Creekwood. We have bumper, 2 of them through the neighborhood. But you still have occasionally people that pass you. You know, when I go through the neighborhood, I go 25 miles an hour. I have people that go around me, pass me on that road with all the speed breakers. People, early morning, you've got school kids out there waiting on the buses. You have people walking to go through that are walking on the street, and when it's before daylight. And you have cars that are coming through that neighborhood, and it's dark on the street. You can't see the people. Fortunately, we haven't had any accidents that I'm aware of, but I don't want this to have any. It would be really nice to have a sidewalk through our neighborhood that people can walk on. They walk their dogs. During the summer, we have people that go to the pool, kids, and the pool is open till dark. So kids are walking back home sometimes after dark. And again, there's no sidewalk on Creekwood. And I would really love to see it over there. So any help that you can give us on that, we'd really appreciate it. And we'd love to have it in the neighborhood. And I really appreciate you letting me talk.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Sanders. We appreciate you
Thank you.
coming out this evening. You're welcome. Do we have any other citizens before we go to virtual? Do we have anyone on the calls, Ms. Jackson?
No,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Miss Cindy, you can please come forward. Give us your name and address for the record.
My name is Cindy Welch, 3002 Concord Way, Douglasville.
Yes,
I've
ma'am.
not seen the plan, but please tell me that there's going to be sidewalks on Durley Lane. There's a large apartment complex there. People walk down to Walgreens, they walk down to Kroger, they walk down to Chick-fil-A, and there are more and more 18-wheelers turning off of Highway 92 to take Durley to go up to Highway 78. And even though there's a sign that says no trucks, that doesn't mean a thing to them.
Yes, ma'am.
And until you can get 18-wheelers off of there,
No.
those people need sidewalks. Somebody is going to get hit.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. And I don't have the plan in front of me, but we did discuss it in committees, and it, of course, is public record, so we will give you the list. We had AECOM do an assessment, and Durley Lane is on the list, but I just can't tell you which one it is right now.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you
ma'am.
very much.
You're welcome. But you bring me to a segue to my comments. We don't have anyone signed up virtually.
No, ma'am.
So the only thing I would say to the citizens, we appreciate the petition, and Mayor Pro Tem, of course, speaking up, and Ms. Welch, and the Sanders that are here tonight, and Panay, and her mom, I'm gonna mess it up, Princess P, and her mother, coming in tonight to talk to us about sidewalks. We did, the city has to take into consideration the entire city, and we had an assessment done, and Mayor Pro Tem talked about the merits of the survey that was done by AECOM, but there is a list that gives the priority of the sidewalks, and Of course, I lived in a subdivision for over 20-plus years in the city, and I would love to have had sidewalks. We didn't have any. I knew that when I bought in the subdivision. But we know that things have changed, and we do want more bike and pedestrian in our community to help us have more walkability, to stay healthy, and for safety measures. So we're going to take all that into consideration with the information that was given to us by AECOM in the Transportation Committee, and we'll come out with a decision. And not saying this a hard and fast no or yes or no, but we do have to look fairly at the ranking and costs and all of that. And so it's not just about money, but I do know that this was addressed, I want to say in 2012 or one of those times, Assistant City Manager and I have been talking about this because Mayor Pro Tem has brought it to his attention as well, that it was done at that time to look at the sidewalk in the area.
Yes, ma'am, I believe it was 2012 or 2013.
Yes, so it's been an issue that the community wants, and the city has looked at it before, so it isn't, like we haven't made this a consideration or thought about it. We just need to take all those things in the equation to make a decision. And we appreciate you coming out and know that it is important for us to put sidewalks and make our communities safer. So any other comments from council members?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Madam Mayor, I'm
Councilman
looking back
Adams.
at our committee meeting information on the
Okay.
30, the rankings,
Mm-hmm.
and I do not see a Dearly Lane sidewalk ranked in the top 30
Let me see.
in response to Ms. Welch's comment. So that may be something that we also need
To look at.
to investigate to see where it was ranked, if it was included, and see what we can do to consider that also. Thank you for your comments. That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Adams. I stand corrected. I thought Doralee was on there, so I said it wasn't in front of me, and I shouldn't have spoken. Yes, sir. But Ms. McKown, could you look at Doralee as well to see you and Ms. Williams?
It's right under, it's going to be 45th.
Oh, it was 45th. And now, how many did we have on the list? 114? 122. And so Doralee was 45th, and we stopped at 30. And Creekwood was 112 out of 122. Okay. All right. Any other comments from citizens or elected officials? Okay, thank you so
Yes,
much.
Madam Mayor.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I apologize, Madam Chair.
Oh, no, it's okay. I
Yes,
just
ma'am.
would like to just thank the residents for making comments and Mayor Pro Tem for bringing this up and all the comments from our elected officials. I do not take it lightly about sidewalks and safety. So with the Highway 92 project coming, I would hope, if I could just blink my eyes and we all had sidewalks and the Highway 92 project is completed, awesome. Unfortunately, I can't. But with the 18-wheelers driving up and down Dearly, hopefully with the Highway 92 project being coming to an end or completion, you won't see that as much. Of course, right now it is difficult, and I know it just to see the 18-wheelers cross over the railroad tracks and get stuck 1,000,001 times. But we will definitely take this up in committee and relook at the items that we have on the list. And also, in the meantime, we could get involved safe routes for kids for Dearly and Creekwood and Oakwood, and see what we can do in the meantime before we make a decision on the sidewalks. That's
Yes,
all I have, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome. Thank you, Madam Transportation Chair. And I did want to say that, was it your recommendation to stop at 30, or you just want to give us a top 30? Is that considered in the budget for the next, 5-10 years, or?
It's really difficult to put a number on that right now. I really would
Okay.
like to take it to committee and look at
Okay.
with staff and just look at the information.
Okay. Well, thank you so
Thank you.
much. You're welcome.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have any other comments from citizens or delegates? Thank you, not seeing any. If we don't have any other business, then this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.